Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we are going on a fascinating journey through time to uncover the rich and meaningful story behind one of the most beloved holidays in the world, Christmas. Now, grab a warm drink, get comfortable, and let's travel back through the centuries together. We're about to explore where Christmas really came from, how it has transformed over thousands of years, and how it became the global celebration we cherish today. Let's jump right in. Every year, as winter settles in, cities around the globe begin to glow with festive lights. Homes feel a little warmer, and people make plans to gather with their loved ones. Christmas has this incredible ability to bring a sense of magic and togetherness. But this holiday, with all its familiar sights and sounds, didn't just appear overnight with perfectly decorated trees and neatly wrapped gifts. The story of Christmas is a long and winding journey through history, a tapestry woven from ancient rituals, religious milestones, and cultural evolution. To truly understand the Christmas we celebrate today, we need to travel back to its very roots. Long before Christmas was ever a concept, ancient civilizations had their own ways of marking the winter season. Winter was often the darkest, coldest, and most challenging time of the year. Survival was tough, and the long nights could feel endless. So people would gather together for warmth, for community, and for hope. These winter festivals were all about celebrating the eventual return of light and life. In ancient Rome, for instance, there was a wildly popular festival called Saturnalia. It honored Saturn, the god of agriculture, and it was a time of pure joy and abandon. For a week, social norms were flipped upside down. People would feast, exchange gifts, play games, and celebrate with a level of freedom they didn't have the rest of the year. It was a carnival of light and merriment in the dead of winter. Meanwhile, in Northern Europe, Germanic and Scandinavian peoples celebrated a festival known as Yule during the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year. They would light huge bonfires and Yule logs to symbolize the victory of light over darkness and to coax the sun to return. They also decorated their homes with evergreen branches, a powerful symbol of life persisting even in the harshest cold. These ancient festivals were fundamentally about honoring light, renewal, and the promise of the sun's return. Then, a new force began to shape the cultural landscape. In the early centuries of the first millennium, Christianity started to spread across the Roman Empire. As the religion grew, its followers wanted to commemorate the birth of its central figure, Jesus Christ. However, the Bible doesn't actually record the exact date of Jesus' birth. There was a lot of debate among early church leaders about when to celebrate it. It wasn't until the 4th century that a pivotal decision was made. Church leaders, most notably Pope Julius I, chose December 25th as the official day to celebrate the birth of Jesus. This date was strategically brilliant. It aligned perfectly with the timing of existing winter festivals like Saturnalia. By placing the Nativity celebration on this date, Christianity could integrate itself into familiar and beloved traditions. It made it easier for people to adopt the new faith while holding on to some of their ancestral customs. By the year 336, the Feast of the Nativity, or Christmas, was being officially celebrated in Rome, and the foundation for the holiday we know was laid. As the centuries passed and Christianity spread throughout Europe, Christmas traditions began to take shape, borrowing and adapting elements from these older pagan festivals. The evergreen tree, once a symbol of life for the Norse and Germanic peoples, was reinterpreted to symbolize everlasting life in Christ. The practice of lighting candles and fires, which once represented the battle against winter darkness, came to represent Jesus as the light of the world. And the custom of gift-giving, a hallmark of Saturnalia, evolved to reflect the gifts of the Magi to the infant Jesus, symbolizing generosity and care for one another. During the Middle Ages, Christmas grew into one of the most important religious celebrations of the year. It was a 12-day festival filled with church services, religious plays reenacting the Nativity story, and lively community feasts. It was a time for both solemn worship and joyful celebration. But the holiday's path wasn't always smooth. During the Protestant Reformation in the 16th and 17th centuries, more puritanical leaders viewed Christmas celebrations as too rowdy and pagan. In England and in some American colonies, celebrating Christmas was actually outlawed for a time. But the festive spirit of the holiday was too strong to be suppressed for long. Now let's talk about one of Christmas's most iconic figures, Santa Claus. The modern jolly man in the red suit has some surprisingly deep historical roots. His story begins with a real person named Saint Nicholas, a kind-hearted bishop who lived in the 4th century in a region that is now part of modern-day Turkey. Saint Nicholas was famous for his incredible kindness and secret gift-giving, especially to the poor and needy. Legends of his generosity spread far and wide. Over the centuries, as these stories traveled across different cultures, the figure of Saint Nicholas began to transform. In the Netherlands, he was known as Sinterklaas, a stately bishop who arrived on a steamboat from Spain to give gifts to good children. In Germany, he was associated with Christkind, a Christ-child angel who brought presents. When these traditions came to America with European immigrants, they all began to merge. Then, in the 19th century, writers and artists gave him the final touches. The 1823 poem "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" gave us his sleigh and reindeer, and cartoonist Thomas Nast gave him his North Pole workshop and his famous red suit. And that is how the historical Saint Nicholas evolved into the magical Santa Claus, who is a central part of Christmas history for so many. The idea of Christmas as a family-centric holiday is actually a relatively modern development. When European settlers first brought Christmas to the Americas, it wasn't the major celebration it is today. In many places, it was a quiet religious affair, or in some cases, a rowdy public party. It was the 19th century that truly transformed Christmas into the holiday we recognize. Influential writers like Washington Irving and Charles Dickens, with his classic A Christmas Carol, helped popularize a vision of Christmas centered on family, charity, and goodwill. At the same time, Queen Victoria and her German husband, Prince Albert, were featured in a popular illustration with their family around a decorated Christmas tree. This image went viral, and suddenly everyone in Britain and America wanted a Christmas tree. Christmas cards, elaborate decorations, and the tradition of exchanging gifts became widespread, cementing Christmas as the heartwarming, family-focused holiday we know and love today. Today, Christmas is celebrated in countless ways all around the world. For billions, it's a deeply religious holiday honoring the birth of Jesus. For others, it's a secular and cultural celebration focused on family, friends, and the spirit of giving. Traditions may differ from country to country, from family to family, but the historical roots remain. The lights, the trees, the feasting, the gifts, they all connect back to a long history of human beings seeking light in the darkness, celebrating life, and sharing joy with one another. Christmas is a beautiful reflection of centuries of history, faith, and cultural exchange. So as you can see, Christmas isn't just a celebration of a single moment in history. It's the culmination of thousands of years of human tradition. It's a story that starts with ancient people huddling around a fire and evolves into a global holiday that connects us all. From ancient winter festivals to a worldwide phenomenon, Christmas tells an enduring story of light, hope, and the beautiful continuity of human culture. And that is the incredible history of Christmas. I hope you enjoyed this journey back in time. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this interesting, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure. See you in the next video.